Hi, I'm Patricio Lagara Sanchez, and today I'm going to explain your experiment relation with salt concentration in water with its freezing point. So let me explain you the procedure that you need to do to recreate this experiment. Okay, for the procedure to do the experiment, you're going to need 3 bottles of water, a spoon, and some salt, normal salt to use for your food. Okay, so to do it, you need to put first the control variable is the water without the salt. You're going to leave this water alone. Okay, next you're going to add a whole spoon of salt to 1 bottle of water. Let me just put the salt. Okay, you're going to add it right to the bottle. Okay, now let's do it for the another one, but this time you're going to do 2 spoons of salt. Here goes one, and we do the other one. Okay. Once you got that, you'll need to put the bottles of water in the freezer and wait for them to get freeze. Okay, so this will be the last. The results for the experiment are: the bottle with no salt is completely frozen. The bottle with 1 spoon of salt is slightly frozen, and the bottle with 2 spoons of salt is mostly liquid. So our hypothesis is correct.
Hello, my name is Galia Luz Garcia, and today I'll be conducting an experiment to know the relation of salt concentration in water with its freezing point. For this experiment, we will need 3 bottles, water, salt, and 3 spoons. First, we're gonna pour 500 milliliters inside the 3 bottles. Then inside bottle number 1 and bottle number 2, we're gonna add salt. And we're gonna leave bottle number 3 like this. So in the first bottle, we're gonna add 1 spoon, and in the second one, we're gonna add 2 spoons. And finally, we're gonna put them in a freezer and wait for 2 hours. Although none of the bottles were frozen, I was able to observe that the third bottle, which did not contain salt, was colder than the other 2.
Hi, my name is Ana Sofia Flores Betancourt, and in this video, I will be conducting an experiment to solve relation of salt concentration into water in its freezing point. The materials are 3 bottles of water, a spoon, and salt. First, we have to add 15 milliliters to 3 jars. Then we're going to take salt, 15 grams in a tablespoon, and we're going to put them in the first spot. Then 2 spoons of 50 grams in the second spot. And we're not going to put anything on the third. Then we're going to put them in the freezer and wait for 2 hours.
Hello, my name is Sharon Nicole Floresoni, and in this video I will be conducting an experiment called Relation of Salt Concentration in Water with its Freezing Point. For this experiment, I will be using 3 pots of water, in each one 500 milliliters of water, and we are going to be using also some salt. For this salt, we are going to need a tablespoon to add some tablespoons of salt to the pots. In the first one, I will be putting no salt. In the second one, I will be putting only 1 tablespoon of salt. And for the third one, I will be using 2 tablespoons of salt. Finally, we're going to go to our freezer and place the 3 pots of water for about 2 hours to let them freeze. As a result, we had in our first pot a completely frozen and clear water, which had no salt. In the second one, which had 2 tablespoons of salt, we had a cover from ice on the top and clear water on below. And for the third one, we had 1 tablespoon of salt and had a thicker cover of ice on the top and water from below.
Hello, my name is Jorge Figueroa Morales, and in this video I am going to make the experiment of the relation of salt concentration in water and with the freezing point. And I am going to use 3 bottles, water, a soup spoon, salt, and a freezer. First of all, I fill these 3 bottles with 500 milliliters of water, and in the first bottle I am going to put 50 grams of salt, and in this case I am going to use a funnel because it's more easy to put the salt in the water. And in the second bottle, I am going to put 30 grams of salt. And in the third bottle is without salt. Now I am going to put the 3 bottles in the freezer and I am going to wait 2 hours. So this is my result. There is no difference between the 3 bottles of water, even though they have different concentration of salt. So I demonstrate this experiment that the concentrations of salt inside the bottle was not enough to mark a difference in the freezing time and amount of each bottle.
Well, hello, my name is Emilio Arturo Elizalde Perez, and in this time I will explain an experiment. And this is the relationship between the level of salinity in water and the freezing point. Well, let's go to the explanation. Okay, now for the experiment, we need 3 bottles of water with the same amount. In this case, I'm using half of a liter, and salt. Okay, this, for example, this bottle will be our control variable because it's only water. We won't put any gram of salt in this bottle, and for these 2, we'll put, like, in this bottle 1 spoon of salt, like, let me just, okay, 1 spoon of salt here, 1 spoon, and in the other one we'll put 2 spoons to see if the level of salt on the water affect its freeze point. Now, after a couple of hours, we can see the result. We can see that the first bottle, that was our control variable or control group, that all the water is freeze, unless a little part, but on the second bottle, for example, on which we put one cup of salt, we can see that mostly of the water is freeze, but there's a lot of water that is not freeze. And on the third bottle, we can see that there's a lot more of water that is not freeze. So we can conclude that the level of salty really affects the freezing point of the bottles and of the water.